producer, however we want to talk about that. And I also, in starting our business, Boxing Rock in Shelburne, faced a lot of people who said, that's never going to work, that's a stupid idea, your beer sucks, etc., etc., etc. So I know what that's like, and it takes a lot of courage to stand up and talk about it, so thank you very much, Chris, for doing that. I'm one of the founding partners and a beer engineer at Boxing Rock, but I'm also the president of the Craft Brewers Association of Nova Scotia. So I also want to thank Chris for the little pat on the back he gave the brewers of this province earlier. And I can say without a doubt that we are an incredible industry made up of incredible people who really appreciate the strength that we get from working together. And we help each other out all the time. In fact, Jeremy brought me empty kegs from Yannick this morning. Thank you very much, Jeremy. Sorry. I actually made notes while making beer the other day on my phone, which is why I'm like holding my phone and reading them, because I want to make sure I don't just get up here and rant. I want to present what I feel is like a really simple challenge that we face, but one of our biggest challenges as food producers. And though I know beer isn't really food, it's a lot like food in a lot of ways. So I think we as craft brewers have a little bit of an image problem. We are, I would say, blue collar rather than white collar, whereas I think wine, no offense, Bruce, wine's a little bit more white collar, a little bit not sexy, okay? We wear overreach too, just for the record. We are not the one big thing. We're not going to provide an instant fix for the Nova Scotia economy, but we are growing at 30% a year, which is incredible, right? And we employ more than 300 Nova Scotians. We are a year-round industry. We are not seasonal. We make beer every day of the year, all year long. And we are not urban focused. We have more rural breweries than we have urban breweries. So we are like the poster child, as far as I'm concerned, for the Evening Report and the One Nova Scotia thing. Like we are like the best shining example of that sort of economic development that the government and that all of Nova Scotia should pay attention to. So although we aren't food, we are a lot like food. And one of the challenges that we face is that beer has a fairly short shelf life, like fresh, unpasteurized, no preservatives beer really isn't that great after 3, 4, 5, 6 months. It's best consumed fresh, and it's best kept refrigerated. And we also have strong links to agriculture. I am so looking forward to the day when I can buy all my hops from Nova Scotia producers, when I can buy all my malted barley from Nova Scotia producers. We can do that here. The challenge we face, I think, is that we are, as a province, both within the government, but also within, sort of the general public, we're in love with the concept of export, which is stupid when it comes to food and when it comes to craft beer. It makes no sense. They are not interested in us unless we're exporting something. If anyone's ever filled in like a co-application form for anything, what do they want to know? How much will this investment allow you to export? Well, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about export. I don't think it's important for us. It is important for Nova Scotia. And there are lots of other things that can be exported. So just as a little side note, my husband invented this electronic contraption that automatically carbonates craft beer. It's called the Fizz Whiz. It's really cool. That is a perfect export product. I hope he sells hundreds of those to brewers all over North America, because that's an export product. Beer, food, not an export product. We should be doing import replacement. So I've been using this word for a long time now, import replacement. I didn't know where it came from, and I was so happy to find out that it was Jane Jacobs who coined the term import replacement. Brilliant. So what does that really mean? I'm sure you all know. It means rather than bring in stuff that we consume every day, we make it ourselves. And that is where the growth in our industries need to come from. It's not from exporting beer or food. It's from replacing our imports. So right now, the piece of the pie that craft brewers used to fight over was 1 or 2%. It's now 7%, which is fantastic. 93% of the beer consumed in Nova Scotia comes from outside Nova Scotia. That's crazy. So I challenge us all to challenge the concept of export. I do not want to export any of my beer until we've replaced the imports. And I think that should be true of all food producers. We should not take that from the government. We should not take the fixation on export any longer. But the challenge we face is the Sobeys and the superstores and the NSLC, they're all set up to bring in stuff from all over everywhere. They are not set up for our fresh local produce. So the NSLC warehouse system, that's a humongous, unrefrigerated warehouse for beer that then distributes it to 100 stores across the province. So if you're not of a scale that you can set yourself up in the NSLC warehouse, and if your beer goes stale too quickly, it just doesn't work for us. And so how do we get access to these distribution systems? That is one of the challenges with import replacement by small local producers, for sure. So I guess my challenge to you is, how do we stop our love affair with export? How do we stop that rhetoric and say instead we should be replacing our imports